everybody. Good morning. My name is Vered Nochi, and I'm Executive Director of the Philadelphia Israel Chamber. I'm also the representative for the Bird Foundation in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Southern New Jersey. It is a pleasure to have you here this morning. We have a great lineup, and the topic is how brands use data and AI to predict consumer behavior. This is part of our series for economic vitality and was requested by our members. And so we're very excited to provide you with this terrific program this morning. We have the opportunity to introduce you again to our dear friends and partners in most of the crimes that we have here. Most of the great programming and matchmaking that the Philadelphia Israel Chamber provides daily between Israeli and Greater Philadelphia, Southern New Jersey, and Delaware companies. And I'm excited to present our ambassador in New York, Israel Nitzan, and he has the largest consul general of Israel in the world, I think, right? And it is a pleasure to introduce him to say a few words. Israel.
Thank you very much, Vered, and thank you, Vered, Howard, and all our friends and participants. We thank you, Vered, of course, and the Philadelphia Israel Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event and for our ongoing and wonderful collaboration and partnership. I think that after almost a year of dealing with the pandemic, we know that COVID-19 poses challenges in all aspects of life, and we find the need to discuss together different aspects of business continuity, and already today to explore ways to address business recovery during and also post COVID. And I think that this is the wonderful setting in which we can bring Israeli and American business leaders and tech and innovation experts to discuss the challenges, share our experiences, and to brainstorm together on how we can actually leverage this cooperation to bring solutions and allow our businesses, both here in the United States and in Israel, and economies to stay competitive. I have to add that we of course at the consulate appreciate very much our relationship both with Governor Wolf of Pennsylvania and Governor Murphy in New Jersey. The two visited Israel separately, I have to say, in the last 2 years in trips that were aimed at bolstering the ties with Israel and also identifying potential new ventures and partnerships in which in innovation and technology. And we, although we're in New York, but of course we have this excellent dialogue with both with Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We aim at leveraging the Israeli technology and innovation to strengthen even more our bilateral relations, but we also aim to leverage this political commitment to bring more collaborations and to provide more Israeli-American partnerships and innovation solutions to today's challenges. So thank you again for organizing it. Thank you for joining us, and we're looking forward to an interesting and fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Israel. We appreciate your daily support, and especially of this program. And as I mentioned, what the Chamber does, the Chamber is an independent nonprofit. For over 30 years, what we do is day in, day out, connect Israeli and Greater Philadelphia, Southern New Jersey, and Delaware companies for joint ventures. And we work very closely with the Israeli Economic Commission in New York, Israel Export, and the Israeli Innovation Authority. And the head of all this enterprise is Inon Elroi, Israeli Economic Minister to North America. And I'd like to introduce him here to say a few words. And thank you for your help with this program, as well as your staff on this call.
Thank you very much, Vered. Good morning, America. Good afternoon, Israel. We're so happy to feature another event, this time on anything which got to do to retail tech. I would like to thank both the PICC, Vered, Howard, and the board and the consulate, and of course, Yarin from the Israeli Export Institute, as well as for the speakers and the companies for joining us. Two words to give a context. Israel keep working intensively to create startups. There are around 4,000 startups in Israel, 1,200 from these startups active in the US. In this context, you may think of more than 750 cyber companies, 1,500 life science companies, 500 fintech, 250 fintech, and about 800 in new media. Speaking about e-commerce specifically, there's about these companies gathered like $3.8 billion of revenue in 2019, an increase of about 14.4% from 2018. Where they expect an annual growth of more than 10% until 2023. And I would say there's over 250 retail tech startups that have raised more than 1 billion in equity investments until 2018. Several of them were acquired by multinationals, like by Retailix, by NCR, Giant Media with Snap, Infinity AR was acquired by Alibaba, Dynamic Yield acquired by McDonald's, and et cetera, et cetera. I want to thank the PICC for working on this event. We're going to hear, of course, the speakers speaking about how they see this amazing and challenging topic, and hear 4 companies that you will be able to meet with following the session. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you, Inon. I'd like to make sure that I mention this event is recorded and also streamed on Facebook. We highly encourage you to turn on your camera. We want to see you. You could put your setting, if you click on the stop video, there is like underneath, there is like this, you scroll down and you can click and you can see up to 49 people at the same time. I ask you to do that because we want to create a feeling of a community. We'd like to create dialogue, and also we miss you. So this is an opportunity to see you. So whenever we have the discussion, that will be an opportunity to see all of you. And while we have the presentation, I will put it on a speaker view so we can actually see the face of the presenter. If you'd like to comment, you can add comments in the chat section. And as we mentioned, we have a terrific panel for you right now, followed by 4 presentations, 5 minutes each of 4 companies, followed by breakout rooms, which we highly encourage you to stay for, because that's when you can actually network and create a fantastic collaboration. I also would like to recognize David Brill, our friend who represents the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank you for joining today. I'd like to thank Delaware Sustainable Chemistry Alliance, as well as World Trade Center Delaware, for also promoting this event. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my dear friend and the moderator for today, Howard Jaffe. Not only Howard is our terrific and very, very devoted past president, he is also a president of Best Evidence, Executive Communications Council, and professor of communications, journalism, and media at Rider University. Good for them and for the PICC. So thank you so much for taking the time today to moderate. I also would like to recognize Matt Fingerman, our president, who's also today, and some of our board members, but we couldn't do it without you, Howard. So please, torch is yours. Thank you, everybody.
Jared, thank you so much. The art and science of customer manipulation is more sophisticated than ever. It used to be, you know, how the arrangement of the store is designed to force us to cover more ground, to walk down more aisles, the smells that are often pumped in, the aromas, special lighting, special displays. It's all designed to encourage us to buy. Nowadays, though, you can just look at an item on the shelf and sensors will tell how long you stood there, determine that you were interested, even if you never touched the item, if you never picked it up. And suddenly your Facebook timeline will start including similar products. You might receive special coupons, special offers. I'm sure you've wondered how all of this happens. Our guests today know because they're the ones doing it. Adam Herstig is the vice president of marketing at Snipes, originally one of the largest sneaker and outerwear streetwear retailers in Europe. Snipes has expanded very successfully in the United States through creative partnerships with the likes of pop stars like Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross. Adam is a graduate himself of Duquesne University. He earned a master's in integrated marketing communications from Emerson College. Before coming to Snipes, he was marketing director and a consultant with a couple of other brands you might have heard of. One of them was Adidas, the other was Reebok. Pete Angeline is a strategic futurist and data scientist. I'm not sure how many of us on this call can claim those monikers, but that's it. He's at the Hershey Company. He is to Hershey, Pete is to Hershey what Nicholas Negroponte is to the MIT Media Lab. To most of us, Hershey means Hershey's Kisses, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Kit Kat, Almond Joy, Mounds, Cadbury, Milk Duds, Jolly Ranchers, Twizzlers, Whoppers, some of the broadest appeal consumer products there are. Pete attended Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, undergraduate, then earned his PhD in computer sciences, machine learning, and artificial intelligence at the Ohio State University. It's a great pleasure welcoming both of you to this call. The Philadelphia Chamber takes great pride in this. Can you guys quantify how far ahead we are now from what seems like this primitive marketing technique system that I mentioned, all those things in supermarkets and elsewhere that have directed our buying decisions until now? How far ahead are we?
I think it's important to note that there's a lot of misconception based on media and the potential of AI in some of these systems you're talking about. I don't think we're as far ahead as most people might guess. Certainly the technologies you mentioned in the introduction are available, but their widespread distribution is still pretty nascent.
Adam, anything?
Yeah, Howard, thanks. I think Pete is I'm more traditional marketing. I think fair warning, I can talk about sustainability and product. I can talk about how we create lines at stores and filter in much coveted product like Jordan 1s and Adidas Ultra Boosts, and making sure that everyone's aware that we have this product, and looking at margins of everything we bring into Snipes stores. From a digital perspective, sure, I work closely with our digital arm. SEO engines are optimized. I oversee social media, making sure we're spending dollars with Facebook and with Instagram. And of course, those algorithms have evolved. I mentioned we've watched, all of us probably at this point, The Social Dilemma. There's some scary things happening behind the curtains. To Pete's point, we don't have visibility. We have some visibility. We use things like Hootsuite to look at when's the best time to post what, when are the best times to drop and launch product, and make sure we're maximizing usability on the back end. But I would agree with Pete, it's evolved, but it's not an exact science. It's not like I can say, come into this store at once and you're gonna walk out of the store with X, Y, and Z in your bag. Yeah.
Artificial intelligence is far as I think you're alluding to in your remarks, it's far from perfect. I heard it actually described as having a brain power equivalent to that of an earthworm. It's usually only as good as the information and the instructions we feed it. Are you aware of cases where artificial intelligence has made major mistakes in relation to consumer behavior? They miscalled it. Does that happen?
It does. There are certainly a lot of concerns related to the ethics of using AI and data collection. There's a lot of concern about racism and bias. And we've seen a number of situations where the tools provided, the AI tools, facial recognition tools provided by Google and Amazon and Microsoft can't identify certain races very well, and that causes some bias. There are people who worry about that, and they're making strides in defining, and much as you just said, that the AI is only as good as the data. So the better the data, the better that the people will be able to be served by whatever application AI is being leverage.
I think it was Harvard University that was using these algorithms powered by AI, and they found that they were excluding women more than they had wanted to. And there were certain signifiers on the resumes or cover letters, certain words actually, that would knock them out of contention. And until they realized that, and that was a major issue. Snipes started in Europe. I know you're connected to the US side of this, but starting in Europe, by the way, in a town called Essen, which I believe is also where Trader Joe's and Aldi's started, Essen, which means to eat in German, which is also, to me, I thought that was sort of cool that these two huge food chains came out of there. But that's where Snipes started as well. And I wonder, from your perspective, Hershey sells around the world. Is there a difference among consumers from different places and the ways you have to address them, and because they behave differently?
Yeah, 100%. And those are conversations we have daily internally. I have to act as a bridge to Germany. In fact, when I started in March, I was supposed to spend some time there, and COVID prohibited me from going over. But multiple WhatsApp calls and Zoom calls to make sure I'm aligned to what they're doing, but then making sure they matter for us in North America. Are they nuanced? Do they matter? And I'll give an example that also speaks to your previous question about AI gone wrong. I don't know how many sneakerheads are here, but a lot of what we sell in footwear is very reliant on coveted released product from Jordan, from Adi, a lot of Nike Inc. Product. And resellers know, because you can flip on the market for a higher share. And a lot of times they know exactly when they're dropping, and bots crowd our site. And on the consumer side, there's so many bots now that know and are so smart, and will crash our site, or they'll be at stores waiting when we necessarily haven't even advertised anything. So that's been a challenge, and it's more so of a challenge for us here in North America than it is in Europe. And then in Europe, I'd say overall, as a Snipes brand, I think they have a bigger family customer base than we do in North America. For now, North America, we're still very sneakerhead focused, which younger, male, a lot of resellers coming to Snipes North American stores, versus I think Snipes Europe, across the 300 stores they have there, touch families a bit more.
What should we know about what you're up to in this area? We generally, as consumers, don't know what's happening or the extent to which it's happening. We don't know what you're doing with us or to us. As consumers yourselves, bring us up to date on, how much should we be concerned about that based on what you all are working on now and for tomorrow?
I think it's important to differentiate between whether or not it's manipulative or whether or not it's serving the purpose of the consumer. One of the things we're trying to do right now is to model palettes, and to your previous question, international palettes as well as domestic palettes. That way we can figure out the right way to formulate a product, say kisses for Israel as opposed to the US. There are cultural differences, there are flavor differences, they're built in from an early age. And being able to provide that sort of personalization at least the international level is important. But if you think about it, we want to get down to maybe the regional level or even micro level. And in order to do that, one person can't synthesize all of the data together to help guide that process. We need something like AI to guide us towards the solutions that'll make sense, so that we're not trying products and formulations over and over and wasting money and getting to something that consumers will enjoy better.
Anything to add, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, that's far more evolved, than us. I mean, we carry the big brands, and we know what moves the dollars. I'd say share of business amongst all of them, they don't change a lot day in to day out. And we don't, from an in-house perspective, the way Pete, they have in-house products that they want to make sure they have different nuances country to country. For us, we're very brand vendor related. So they give us the product that we then go and sell. Of course, we have some in-house product, and there we obviously have much more ability to dial up and dial down, but it's a little bit different for us because we're so reliant on the Nikes and the Pumas and the Adidases of the world. So, it's not necessarily, the same there.
I'd be remiss if I didn't raise at least one ethical issue. Is there a point at which predicting consumer behavior can go too far? Where and we touched on this for a second before, but I think it's worth going into a little bit more. Privacy issues and us not knowing what's actually happening. I'm sure that's a concern to both of you as you use these tools.
There's a classic example about Target creating a system that would identify based on purchasing behavior whether or not somebody was expecting, and then they would start feeding coupons for infant, baby, nursery items to the individual. There was a young woman who started purchasing these sort of products, and a little later, the family got a notice that the young woman was 16, got a notice that, hey, there's all this baby stuff, coupons you can purchase, that was addressed to this young woman. The father got very upset, contacted Target and said, why are you sending this? Later found out that the daughter was actually pregnant. So there's a violation of a personal situation. The daughter hadn't informed the parents yet. So those sort of things are happening. And great care has to be taken when setting up the types of applications that we're going to leverage this data and these techniques for, where we don't cross over into that more personal choices and take away some of the rights that somebody may have inadvertently. The European Union is on this. They've got guidelines for personal data and where you're allowed to go and not go. And those are being adopted here. Hershey adopts them as a matter of course. And those others developing in the US will get us to a place that will be safer for everyone.
Yeah, we're far less evolved. We don't have heat maps in our stores. I would say Snipes' brick and mortar business is highly cash dependent. We're neighborhood based. We're community based. So that level of intel is not available to us. Where I spend a lot of my time for intel that then translates into general marketing plans and programs are with our online team, which gives us real time. I mean, I think I mentioned to you, Howard, we're today in North America, mostly in the Northeast, Philly, New York, Jersey, and we made an acquisition in the Midwest for some Chicago and Michigan doors. Full fleets were about 100, mostly neighborhoods, mostly cash business. Now our online is telling us a lot. Consumers are coming from LA, on certain days in seasonality, whether it's Cyber Monday, back to school, we're seeing more mothers shop with us. And what are they buying? We have, those are when I get surprised a little bit. It's not just these release sneakers, they're inline styles, what we call, so everyday wear. And that's where I want to then say, okay, how do I ramp that up? Because we know what sells, and I want to use that to engage the consumer, but then I want to sell the bigger volume items, the everyday items. So I wouldn't say that as far as, for me, I take that information and I design it with the graphics team and put it back out there in a marketing way, whether we work with an athlete or a celebrity, the right person to endorse the right product because I've been given that information. That's kind of how I look at it. So ethically for me, I don't really go down that dark hole. Of course, I do think when it comes to children, and I think screen time should obviously be monitored and everyone should put their phone down, and we should be aware, at which when it comes to children, I don't know that awareness is there. But as far as what Snipes is doing and me specifically, I don't get too kind of concerned with the ethics.
It feels like there's so much information that is being scraped from virtually everything we're doing, from our emails, from our phone calls, from microphones and cameras all over, from the applications that we're using. Do you have an opinion on fair trade apps, these so-called fair trade apps, which would, fair trade apps don't track us. They don't take all that information. They don't save it. They're not in that business of selling big data. Thoughts?
So I've just, as an admittance, and this may become as a surprise, I don't do Facebook. I don't like the practices. I'm concerned about my data, and I made a conscious decision to stick to old school methods of communication and friendship maintenance other than Facebook. It can be a concern the way some of this data is leveraged. Fair trade, and I'll even put in a plug for DuckDuckGo. There are browsers out there that will protect your privacy a little bit more. That's a Philly-based company. There are browsers that will remove your cookies, and you can turn it on so you have complete privacy, and the retailers won't get any information. There are VPN networks that would allow you to stay anonymous. So there are ways that we can take action to protect our personal data. I'll put out as a futurist to say that one of the things I think is going to happen is the data will eventually, through law, be owned by an individual, and companies will have to pay you in order to leverage your data in their models. So I think there are things moving forward that will very seriously change the way these data questions are addressed and what the opportunities for sharing or removing your personal data from models everywhere will only increase.
We have a few minutes. I'm sorry for interrupting, Howard. Before this session continues, I think that we would love to hear about your experience during COVID and how the market has shifted, and how we can perhaps, or what are you missing from technology standpoint to help you cope better in this economy? If we can proceed on that topic, please.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll speak to that. I think I mentioned this before. Given where our stores are located, early COVID, we were in the highest regulated cities. So New York, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Chicago, Detroit, we were full lockdown. In fact, we had to quickly pivot to even get special exemptions to fulfill for online, because our fulfillment center is Philadelphia based, to just keep online. And luckily, all the marketing pushed everything online, and, our online business grew, tenfold. So that kept the lights on for a few months. And then as we came out of the COVID restrictions and we had to adhere to capacity guidelines, whether they be state to state, 25% or 50%, sanitizers, temperature checks, whatever was mandated, we followed suit. We quickly reopened. And once we reopened, I think I mentioned this, whether it's stimulus money or just the hunger for product, we're still scratching our heads as to how we've successfully come out of this. In fact, ahead of plan. And so, for us, we've come a long way. I think a lot of that is thanks to having product that was highly in demand for, and just this shutdown and people wanted to get out and shop again. But also we're young, we're small, nimble, flexible. So we were able to get doors open quicker than maybe some of our larger giant competitors that probably needed a few, more checks to make along the way. So us getting open quicker, sooner helped us as well. And today, we're marching ahead. We want to open new stores. Our online business it's gotten a complete overhaul from it has a whole new look and feel to it. We're doubling down in online because we're seeing a lot of traffic come to our site from places where we don't have stores. And so we're very omni-channel in our marketing. And so for us, it's been a, one big journey, but I think us constantly staying in close communication and making quick decisions as we were allowed to make them helped us tremendously.
Just to add to that, I completely agree with Adam. The types of things we've done have been very similar. To add maybe one more dimension, we've spent a lot of effort with our COVID task force to be able to identify the safe places for our employees to work together and which ones are not. We're not seeing as everybody I'm sure is aware, we're not seeing the same sort of effect across the US. So we very carefully monitor where our plants are, what kind of COVID situation there is, and then make recommendations to our sales folk and to our plant people when they can go to work if we have to take more extreme measures, with the focus of keeping all the employees safe and healthy.
My very all yours. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Howard. Thank you so much, panelists. We will move to the presentation, and we will see if we have time. We'll open the floor for questions from the audience. We have 4 companies pitching, 5 minutes each, and then we will move to the breakout rooms, where you all will be able to ask the companies, as well as Pete and Adam and Howard, additional questions. Thank you, first of all, again, for the panel. The first company presenting is Effective Markets. Dan, I'm gonna look for you. Just a second.
Can you see the screen? Very.
Yes, please share it.
I shared it.
You can see your screen.
We see.
You see it. Okay, so let me start. So first, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Dan Gang, founder and CEO of Effective Markets. So people buy on emotion and justify it with logic. 95% of consumers' purchasing decisions made emotionally and fast, leaving a lot of knowledge below the conscious threshold, making consumer emotions data inaccessible. When you look on what companies are doing, they hire hundreds of people, they ask them questions, people need to interpret the questions, give answers. In short, companies use rational thinking to decode the emotional, impulsive thinking, and it does not work so well. It means that the essential layer of consumers' emotions data is missing in their decision-making processes. But we have started to crack the emotional code, and we have developed an innovative AI-enabled SaaS platform that scientifically extracts consumer emotions in data. We help our clients by predicting the emotional reactions of the market to their ideas, products, branding identity, and marketing messages. The service that we build is affordable, profound, and has a short response time. Here we see, for example, dashboard generated for Tide, one of the Procter & Gamble's products, our most prominent customer. I thought that maybe it's a good idea to go through an example, what kind of input and output we use in our AI SaaS platform. The research question here was, what is the resonating color that will fit with the US market? It's a simple question. We can deal with a much more complex question than that. The Australian company wanted to print the packages and the tubes, planning to spend about $500,000, and were eager to get some insights, if possible, before they print. So we do not hire people for this aim. Instead, we represent or build the stimulus. The photo of the cosmetic product in purple was suggested by the agency and a short title, and we uploaded it to the system. So the kind of results that we have, first is the AM rank, AM Effective Markets rank. It's a number between 0 to 100. Here we have 60, it's quite high. And this means that most of the population, the American population, will react positively to this color, to this product. But we were continuing to do some tests with other colors. And indeed, we found the turquoise color is bringing us to 77, which means that 63% of the females in the US population are going to be attracted to this product as opposed to 46. And the same goes for the males. And when you look on age ranges, and so, of course, if you choose turquoise color as the color for the packaging, you give more chances of success to your product. So how we do it, what is behind that we implemented to make it happen? So our research has revealed surprisingly strong ties between our taste in music, movies, food, fashion, even faces of people. We call it emotion DNA. Knowing even a small set of songs preferences of a person is sufficient for predicting well this person's taste in movies, in fashion, all other domains that I mentioned. So how we learn this emotion DNA? You see here a simulation. It's a real simulation that was recorded on this slide. So we expose people to a stimuli, a special stimuli. It's a system 1 based stimuli, to those who know the term. In one-time operation, we learned the emotion DNA of thousands of panelists who were carefully selected to capture the reaction patterns of the whole population. And the AI algorithm predicts the panelist reactions to new items which are uploaded to our system, creating a sort of survey without panelists. So let's look on a professional result, how it looks. So when we submit professional insights report to our customers, one typically gets this beautiful UI, allowing the use of filters to see all products of a specific category or brand. Here you see a competitive landscape. You actually see a lot of cosmetic products of competitors. And it's divided into some geographic areas in the US. The insights include evaluation of strengths of brands and branded products, detailed parameters of resonating subpopulations, products that attract similar audiences, and recommendation about pricing. We work with very nice clients, Mars and Dorot from the food industry. Coloroid is the biggest retailer in Belgium, Procter & Gamble, Lavior is OTC from New York, Super Smile, Oral Care from New York, Food Labs that a little bit vanished in this time. And I will be very happy to continue tell you about what we do and show you some examples when we will meet in the rooms. So thank you, Vered. I don't hear you. You are in mute.
Thank you so much. That was very interesting. And we will have, if we have time, we'll ask some questions, the companies. Otherwise, we will do so in the breakout rooms. The next presenter is Lior Moses with Nogata. Thank you, Dan. Lior.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Vered. It's great to be here. As Vered said, my name is Lior, and I'm VP Business Development here at Nogata. As you can see, we're in a very strict timeline, so I'd really like to very quickly introduce Nogata and talk about one of our solutions that has been getting a lot of traction lately due to COVID and all the effects that it comes with. So this solution, the best thing about it is that it can help you leverage external online data to predict and detect future trends and shift in customer interest. And not only that, but also capitalize on that. So a few words about Nogata. We have been founded about 2 years ago with the mission to help enterprises leverage AI at scale, which is something that, as we've heard even now, is very difficult. Our offering is composed of two different parts, a platform and our solution. We're going to dive into one of our solutions, but the platform is the real game changer, which is what helps us take most of the heavy lifting that's associated with creating AI applications from our clients and shorten the time to production so our solution can be up and running in a matter of weeks. And we have been very fortunate, even though we're fairly young, to have worked with top-tier CPGs such as PepsiCo, Colgate-Palmolive, Frito-Lay, and many more. Now, as we've heard even here, and we all know that this is no news that for many companies selling online, the landscape has changed. E-commerce has been getting a lot of traction, and moreover is the fact that unexpected changes happened with customer interest. So people tap into online suddenly to buy other things and interest in other capabilities. So back in the first pandemic, in the first wave, actually, we have been working with one of our clients to research whether e-commerce has predictive power that could be relevant to further than just the same e-commerce platform. So we have used Amazon, which is the largest e-commerce platform, to see, does Amazon behavior have predictive power to what's going on brick and mortars or to other online channels. So we've taken these three products that you can see here that we saw shortages in the stores for, and we went back to the data and we noticed that anywhere between 5 to 6 to 7 weeks earlier to the shortage, we could find demand spikes. Now, the funny thing here is that the first spike with the face mask was very much associated with the pandemic eruption in China. The second one, which is 38,000% increase in searches, was when it hit the US. So we have started to build an algorithm that could help us to identify customer changes in customer behavior based on Amazon searches. So again, the algorithm, the beautiful thing about the algorithm here is that it's dynamic. So it can help us find major trends like mouthwash, the whole category of mouthwash trending up, which is a true story. And actually, after talking to the client, we found out that there was an article saying that mouthwash can prevent COVID. So the whole category went up. But the dynamic algorithm clustering here can actually figure out if there is a specific taste for snacks that is right now trending, or a specific characteristic or ingredient in skincare that women are now starting to look for. And these microtrends, the ability to even see these microtrends helps us, our customers, very much in order to direct their efforts. But more than just, here we go, more than just detecting these trends, we are able to tie it with our customer portfolio to personalize the relevancy of each one of these trends and topics and find the opportunities behind them. We also help our customer understand how to capitalize on these trends. In some cases, it's refining your marketing messages. In other cases, it's adjusting your advertising budget or directing your efforts better. And here you could actually see for a specific trend, or we call it topic, what are the different search terms that compose this product. Now, this is, of course, is in a very, very high level. There is so much more to dive into that we could expand and demo. I'd love to talk to everyone further in the breakout room and answer any questions you might have and leave you with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Leo. So as you see, there's different tools for different companies, and that's what's so exciting about the 4 companies today. My mother was a fashion designer. She said there's a dress for every person. So we're gonna review another exciting technology by Signals Analytics. And we have here Kobe. Let me find you here, Kobe. You can unmute. Kobe Gershoni, are you with us? Yeah. Please share your screen.
Hi, everybody. Are we good to go, Vered?
Yes, please.
All right, great. Thanks for having us, the Chamber of Commerce and Vered, for setting this up. So my name is Kobe Gershoni. I'm the Chief Research Officer and co-founder for Signals. And what I want to share with you today is, again, the capabilities of where Signals Analytics is playing in this world of data analytics, insights generation for decision making. The first thing that I'd like to share with you is that Signals background is coming from this world of intelligence. As you think about AI and all the wonderful technology that are out there, it really needs to meet the purpose of what we're trying to gain out of the intelligence in a programmatic manner. All the way from understanding anomalies or understanding causalities, understanding things that we don't know, to the point of trying to get ahead of the trend and at the speed of time to actually be reactive or proactive based on the way that data is serving that purpose. So in a perfect world, we would have those 3 pillars of intelligence connected to AI by thinking about, again, to Adam's points earlier, it's all about the data, right? Data coming from the voice of the consumer, data coming from understanding of the competitive landscape, the innovation that we're seeing coming up and popping, how it's being accepted in the market and how it's being basically translated to products and brand messaging, all the way to connecting it to the internal data that you have, whether it's your sales data, whether it's other sources of data around inventory, etc. But at the core of things, there is this AI engine, right, that needs to translate all this data. This data is unstructured, this data is unconnected, this data is really, really hard to connect from all those sources to create one single source of truth or a view that would help you to make those again, better decisions based on forecasting, predictive, and the rest of it. But on top of that, AI engine, which takes all this unstructured data and put it into the context and to the usability, there's also this level of domain expertise. Each category is different. Each vertical is different. Each consumer experience is different. So we need to know how to break down the domain into layers that can become actionable. So when we think about, where and how to use data analytics or advanced analytics, we have basically identified 3 pillars, not the 4 here. The first one is all the chief data officers and CIOs who are trying to become better as a business partner to the organization. It's thinking about scale, it's thinking about access, it's thinking about connectivity and making it work across the organization. Usually silos are being kept for a while until disruption kind of breaks everything together, everything through and rebuilding and revamping the capabilities. The other side is this consumer insights, shopper insights, and brand and sales product groups. These people are really trying to understand anything they can about the consumer, about competition, about white spaces, about where should I play and how should I win. And then it goes downstream to the agency or to the performance marketing. There's really this missing of measurements and closing the loop of what product should I actually launch in which channels, and what should be the right message to the right brand and to the affinity. And all these questions are very hard to answer because, again, it lacks of this connectivity of data that makes it actionable. So just to give you a quick understanding of something that we've done in recent years and what this data connectivity is all about. It is about understanding what do consumers understand about products, about benefits of the product, about the features that the products are providing. And it's one thing to listen to what consumers are saying, and I'm sure that everybody has some sort of a social listening platform that they're using. The other thing is how can we connect it to the labels and the claims of the products, and where are those unmet needs or unaddressed needs? Where are the white spaces that we need to monitor in order to understand that we should actually play in this growing demand for a healthy, non-dairy product. And soybean is not the king, it's actually oats who's making the runner-up to disrupt kind of the soybean market for alternative dairies. That insight is worth a lot if you come early to connect it and you know how to activate on top of it, all the way from your product innovation to the product claims, to the way that you message and to connect with the consumer. Because the consumer does understand what oat benefits are. We just need to know how to listen to them and see where it connects to products and brands. Another point of view of bigger data sets or more connected data sets, we often have that question about, well, I'm doing my predictive analytics on my sales data. Well, sales data only gives you that almost like limited view of the world. It's almost looking at the back mirror and trying to understand. But when you connect more information, when you make it more connected through e-commerce data, product reviews, social data, and sales, your predictor is becoming much, much, much stronger and much more scalable in the way that you don't do it as a one-off project. It's about systems and about how we can basically use intelligence in a scalable manner. So building your own app is something that we're very proud of. We believe that every customer, every company has its own view on what they need and how far they are to become data driven. And so Signal's offering is basically to create that environment in which we can build apps and develop them. And last, Vered, before we move to the rooms and probably have more discussions, it's really about the activation of things. So if you understand the trend and you understand where to play and how to win, you really want to know what is the trend of an ingredient, of a benefit or a feature in the way that you're able to make better, smarter decisions in the way that we work. And I'll be able to share with you a two-tailed kind of companies in the room because there's many more things to share as we kind of depart to the other room. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The next presenter will be Guy Zeinman from Spark Beyond. Please share your presentation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Second. So Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Guy Zinnen. I'm the General Manager for Solutions at Far Beyond. I started as employee number 4, and today, 6.5 years later, we have over 180 people. We are located all around the world. We have offices in Melbourne, Singapore, London, New York. Again, working with probably the biggest companies in the CPG area, I would mention Nestle, PepsiCo, Eisenhower, Bosch. And by the way, I'm also a senior grad in computer science. By the way, our biggest partners are McKinsey. They chose us as their AI engine of choice already in 2015, and Microsoft, which are one of our biggest technology partners, starting 2018. What we've created is a machine that can create hypotheses and ideas by itself, connect every piece of data that you have within the organization and external data sets, and then within minutes to hours, create millions and tens of millions of ideas, of hypotheses, and then write the code just like a data scientist or a citizen data scientist to express your ideas on the data in order to find out the real signals, the real drivers behind the phenomena, and filter down to usually a set of 200, 300 ideas that as a set best explains the KPIs that you're trying to explain, predict, or optimize. The 3 UVPs that I want to highlight are, the ability to find answers in global data. Second, the ability to, as I mentioned, test millions of hypotheses in a very, very short time. And the third thing, this is a glass box, not a black box. So, all the process of finding these ideas are written in a way that is human readable. It doesn't matter the type of data is textual data, time series data, geographical data, and network data. And I'll try to show you a real example in a second. As I mentioned, the machine can ingest any type of data. We have lots of external data built in, anywhere from maps, weather, news, Twitter, Wikipedia, others. And by the way, the secret sauce that we have is that we're able to create machines that can write code by itself, is we're able to scan all the open source code out there. We have an underlying library of hundreds of thousands of functions. Each one is annotated, and we even understand the licensing under each one. Then we've created a machine that can actually take all these building blocks, stitch them together to create all these mini programs that are applied on the data to find signals. I'll skip the use cases. What we are observing in COVID-19 times is that many of the patterns that you had in the past are no longer valid. I had the client tell me 3 months ago that the data from the last 3 months is more relevant than this that they have gathered in the last 5 years. So with that, I want to give you a very concrete example. This is a sanitized example based on a real use case that we had with the client. So again, just for, let's say an unnamed plastic category, what they've seen is some kind of a spike in sales. And the first questions that we want to ask is which customers' behaviors are associated with this surge in demand. And the second element was to, based on these dynamics, understand what will be the future demand in the next periods. So this is exactly the way we position this platform. Give us all the things that are associated with the difference between these 2 periods. Again, this is just a screenshot of the platform. What you can see here, again, I'll be very, very short. You have, all the orders and the order details and the product information, obviously everything across time, additional across external data, and you don't need to join the data. So the Far Beyond platform will join all the data in an autonomous way. And what you can see here in the bottom left is that within 37 minutes, the machine was able to generate 7.6 million hypotheses, out of which select 300 drivers and also microsegments, and build, again, both insights and predictive models. So let's see how it looks like. So this is, for example, one microsegment the machine generated that we can quickly say this is related to home chefs. So for example, again, these are all ideas created by the machine. So there's no human beings that touch this in any way or form. This comes from directly as the textual information from the product details. So again, if it contained fresh vegetables, or for example, if you had a bunch of herbs that are mentioned in the text, the machine actually took all these mentions, went to Wikipedia, brought the category information and said that if the topic in this text is related to herbs, again, this is probably related to the change in sales. Another one was, kind of like short-term pileup of products. For example, again, this is something the machine mentioned, it's related to staple foods. And the last one is, I'm finishing in a second. And the last one is, things that are related to a decline in commercial customers. So what you can see is that once we take all these observations and overlay them on the data, we can actually map out the dynamic for each one, and then effectively drive the right promotions, the right intervention and actions for marketing teams to place given the insights. Lastly, obviously, what you can do is you have the predictive models to understand how you can take this forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have 4 minutes for questions. Let me please have us share the screen. Okay, so we have 3 minutes left for questions. First, I'll allow our Howard and Adam and Pete, if you would like to ask any questions. Otherwise, we will move otherwise to the audience, and then following, I will split all of us to 4 groups, each with a company, so you could talk to them in detail about the presence in the US, the background of the company, specific questions about their technology, etc. Any questions from the audience or the panelists and our moderator? You can either text in the chat or you can raise your hand. No? Okay, so if so, then what I will do next, I will move us into the breakout rooms, and you'll be able to have a more detailed conversation. I encourage you to move. You will be staying in the same space, and the companies will be moving from one room to another. We will then convene again in this space, and I will conclude the event with Howard. Thank you so much, all of you, for participating today, and thank you for our presenters and the companies for presenting, as well as Howard for moderating. Thank you so much. We'll move to the breakout rooms. I'm trying to, okay, let's see.
Hey.
Hi, just a second. I'm working on this. Okay. Everybody can unmute.
Hey, can you put me in two, Barrett, please?
I will try. I want to make sure I
Okay.
have people here in each one, but I don't see the Israeli company here. So let me get back to
Sure, of course.
it. It's I don't understand. I have a company in each. Guy is supposed to be here in this group. Everybody can unmute if you wish.
Guy is in number 2
How can you see it?
because I logged in twice, once on my computer, once on my phone, and my computer's in number 2. But here where I'm speaking, I'm the main room.
But mine shows that he's a number. Let me see. Lior is supposed to be here. Is Lior here? Lior? This is number 1. No, where am I? Josh.
Here you see, this is number 2, where Guy is.
So Guy Zeinman is supposed to be here. Guy, where are you?
He's
Or
in
this
number
is
2.
in your phone. So Kobe is here. Is Kobe here?
Kobe is in number 4.
So we are. What number are we here now?
This is the main room.
So how come my screen doesn't show that there's anybody in the main room?
I see Ian and Ina and Doyen and Robert.
Yeah, but can you transfer them? Can you move them?
I don't think I'm a, what do you call it? I don't think I'm a an owner. Only the owner, only the
I'll
host.
make you the host and you can do it, okay?
Okay, all right, I'll try. I'm on my phone, but I'll try. I'm the host now. Great. Okay, let's see.
Because I don't know what to do with the people here. Why aren't they going anywhere? I had only 4 rooms.
Let's see. I see. I can only join a room from my phone. I don't think I can, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll join a room.
And hello, everybody can unmute.
Hey, I made you the host again. I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
I'm like on my phone, so things
I
are
don't
little...
see the people but the other rooms are in action, right?
You're the host. Can't you see? Don't you have like a breakout room
I
button?
see them, but I don't understand the people here. Where are they? Because when I look at the list, I can see the people in the 3 rooms.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But I don't see them. Why are they not going nowhere? How can I transfer them? Put in waiting room. I don't know what to do with them. And now I need to soon move everybody, you know? It's time to shuffle them. But these 4 people, I don't know where to put them.
So I don't know. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I think they have to come back to the main room and then you move them again.
I see.
I think.
Move to. It says it's not joined. I can see them as not joined. So I'll move them to room 3. And then. Two.
Hey, Vered.
Yes.
I'm starting to have Zoom problems. I think when my camera went out because my nephew's here and he's on Zoom, like right over here. He works for Hershey Foods, so somehow my camera has gone out. Maybe I don't have enough bandwidth here. But anyways, this was very good. I thought they were very good. I thought the first
Really?
2, the first 2 I thought were good, particularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are
They were
these
good.
people staying here? I'm moving them and they're not moving.
Sorry, I don't want to bug you there. I can only see you. I
Oh.
didn't realize others were here.
Can you see me?
I can see you fine. Yes.
I'm trying to move Ian and Robert to other rooms and they're not moving.
But you can also if you're in the room, come out of the breakout room, which takes you back to the general session. So they may have opted out of the breakout room.
The problem is I can't. Okay, I gotta go to each room and start moving them because it's 8 minutes. So okay, I gotta leave. Sorry. So I'm gonna say brought us all. Hi, Christine. Are you here? So do you want? I was trying to move you to a room and you're not moving.
Oh, hi. You know what? Hang on a second. Let me find you. I had to drop off because I have to go to another meeting, but I tried to leave, so I'm sorry. I'll
Okay.
leave and close out. But
No, and there's no problem. I'm sorry. Thank you.
thank you.
Hi, Ina. Ina was trying to move your room and you can't move from some reason. Ina?
Yes. Oops. Hello.
I'm sorry. I was trying to move you and we have Ian here and Robert to the rooms, but you're not moved from some reason.
How do I do that?
I don't know. I was trying to move you and it's like you're in transition. It's what David is saying. Maybe it's a slow internet for you or something.
It's very possible because I'm in a condominium. Yeah.
I'll try to move you again. Okay, Ina, I'm moving you a room. Let's see if it works.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No, you're still here.
Yeah. Vered, I don't wanna hold you up.
No, you're not holding me up. I was trying to kind of figure this out, so I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So what should I do then? Should I log off? Should I leave?
Either that or let me know.
Okay. Well, it was nice to see the presentations. Anyways, nice to see you.
Okay.
Have a good
Let
day.
me, just a second, we have a technical problem here. I need to figure this out, okay? Just a minute.
Maybe should I, you know what, I need to put, maybe if I click this join.
Ian? Ian? Bob? Robert Adelstein? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
I was trying to move you to room 3, but you're not joined. I don't know why. Do you have internet connection problem or something?
Yeah, and I also have someone working on my house, so
Oh, okay.
I'm probably not going to be able to join.
Well, thank you so much for joining the event. I hope it was of value. And
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
I will send information of the companies and their presentations later, and I'll be glad to make introductions if you're interested in any of them.
Good. Yeah, I'd like to speak to Dan at some point. It sounded pretty interesting what he's doing.
Yeah, and they are members of the chamber, so it's really fantastic. Great company. So I'll make a note to
Okay.
introduce
Yeah,
you.
I'll follow back up. Thank you. I got to go.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Ian? Ian, are you still there? Ian?
Hi, Vered. You're muted.
You bumped into here for some reason. Let me
Yeah,
try.
I wanted to go into a different room, but I couldn't find the other room, so it doesn't.
Which company do you want to talk to?
What was?
I have Effective Markets, Nogata, Signals Analytics, and Spark Beyond.
I think the Signals Analytics. That was what the person's name is.
Signals is Kobe. Let me
Kobe,
find
yeah,
him
I
for you,
tried that.
okay?
Thank you.
I will find you. But the problem is, once you're here, I don't know how to take you from here back there.
Okay.
Let me find you.
I was interested to see how you were going to do that.
Where is Kobe? This is like a puzzle, you know?
Yes.
So Kobe is in room number 2.
Okay.
And you are number 3. I'm going to try and move you, okay?
Thank you.
Are you moving?
It says you're inviting me to room 2.
Accepted then. I see you there. Okay. היא תבואי בדרך. אוקיי? כי אני סוגרת את האירוע. Hey Cheryl, so glad to see you. You're muted. Where's everybody?
Yeah.
Everybody disappeared.
Interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Where's everybody?
I clicked the button when it came up.
They hung up? No,
Oh.
they're still there. All breakout rooms will close in 22 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. I saw the thing. I'm in Zoom all the time, so I saw your message. I clicked on it.
So now I have time with you. That's fun.
Like some math.
It's fantastic. I'd love to have you in more events. That's great.
Oh, this is great.
That's good. Yeah.
Wish we had more time with people.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of really great programs coming. We should talk about that. I'm glad to see everybody back.
We survived. This is what you mean.
No, not survive. I'm sure you were in good hands. I'd like again to thank Israel Nitza, our ambassador, and Inon Elroy. I think they're no longer with us. Our terrific moderator Howard Jaffe, and also our presenters Pete Angeline and Adam Herzig, and the companies. We will keep this open if you want to continue a discussion, but we want to be respectful of your time. If you like this program, please join us as a member. And whether you're a member or not, we have upcoming events January 14 on aging technologies to improve the life of seniors and transform them, especially now in COVID. We're planning an event towards the end of January on leveraging on the collaborations with the Arab nations through the peace accord with Arab nations right now, as well as a series of events on cell and gene therapeutics in the future, and we have more to come. So stay with us, become members. If you want to continue networking with the companies, stay here, and we will also send their contact information and PowerPoints later. Thank you all for your collaboration and participation.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Those who celebrate. Okay.
Who wants to hang out?
Everybody can unmute. Yeah.
Vered, are there desserts and food you can offer us?
Man, it's lunch. It's lunch. You come in the evening, I'll make you some latkes. My kid is traveling tomorrow, so we're going to do it tonight before I miss her because she's going to go away. So
She's going to another state, I heard.
yeah. So we're going to celebrate tonight. But any night is a good night for fried food, I guess.
I guess just to our speakers are still here, Dan and Guy. We're going to get your PowerPoints.
We have Leo too, and Kobe, the four companies.
And Kobe, of course.
Yeah.
And Pete, Angeline, I'm sorry. Great day, great event. I've been involved with PICC for 20 years plus, past president. We're getting better and better with this COVID situation, pandemic. So, Howard, thanks for hosting. I guess if you had one takeaway for lay people who are running a business or division or practice on the use of AI, like bring it down from what Hershey does, bring it down from what, you guys are, PhDs in data science, but what's a takeaway for us? How can we use it in our daily lives?
Maybe I could speak to that. I think that the most important thing that I've heard from everyone, and I would love to leave you with that message, is something big has happened here. It's disrupting the industry, and the faster that you would accept it and start adapting to it and taking on AI or any other new way of thinking to deal with a new situation, and not to think that, oh, we can rely, just like, I'm not sure, I think it was Guy who showed, predictive power is right now at a crashing point. The data and the time passed is no longer relevant. You have to reinvent yourself, create new visibility to new data, learn from current data, and just understand that you need a new thinking here.
Great comment. I think I would add maybe something's a bit glib, which is AI is not an answer, it's a tool. You need people who understand what's coming out of the AI system to validate what's coming out and to put it into action. We're not delegating any responsibilities to AI, and we shouldn't expect to. We should be leveraging it as an idea engine and a way of limiting the places we look for answers rather than providing just the answers.
Yeah, I would add that I think there is this this movie thing that we all think about, how we understand technology and AI, and they give you all the imagination in the world. At the end of the day, it's a play that could be either dangerous or you can benefit from. If you think about TikTok and your kids using TikTok, it's all about the data, the gathering of the data, the significant data. If you think about making the world better through global warming, sustainability, then it's an application. So to Pete's point, it's a tool and a means to an end. It needs to be regulated. That's one of the biggest things that we need to think about. What's the roadmap for regulation? So we would not, get ourselves into trouble that we would maybe as a human race get ourselves out of.
Right.
But I don't think it's only related to that. I mean, they're taking our COVID test. Everybody offer them for free, and they have so much information in the COVID test. So it's not just this one; it's everywhere.
Yeah,
who's going to regulate it? Who's going to regulate this? Is this an industry self-regulation issue? I don't think so.
No.
No regulator. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's your challenge. They're right there. It's not.
Well, since we're all in a group, I'm sorry, I don't know Dwayne Ashiro, but I know everybody else here. We would very much like to have your feedback later on what you liked and didn't like, what worked and not. And the Israeli companies will work with you later on connecting you, definitely. So, and thank you, Jacob, also for whatever you did and your team to help us do this from the Economic Mission. And Jacob also helps us really on different technologies. We just did one on real estate tech. So same thing, same formula. Any day we're here for you.
Thank
you. This is Doyan.
Pardon me?
I work for New Jersey Economic Development Authority as the director for the food and beverage sector.
Oh,
Doyan Ashiro, yes.
Nice.
I'll give my feedback.
Can we see your face so we know you?
In the car, but I'll be driving safe.
Okay.
What I would say is that hopefully in 2021, we'll be able to go back to Israel on flights, on trips, and bring missions of American business people in the Philadelphia region like we did 2 or 3 times the last 3 years.
Yeah,
so
people are already asking, they want to go.
But the thing is, what we are learning, at least, that there is so much that can be done via Zoom.
Yeah.
We were able to close during COVID-19 deals with like millions of dollars. So I think that they say that 50% of people, 50% of the business travels would actually be gone, even post COVID-19.
But there's a lot of people that never been to Israel, and for them it makes a whole difference of comfort when they see Israel. Like we traveled with Hershey, with 2 people from Hershey in September last year, and it was transformative for both of them. And I hope, Pete, that you will be able to come with us because there's so much you could see there. Anything from food technologies to what these folks are doing, it's just incredible.
Yeah,
I'm ready. Send me an invitation. I'm ready. As soon as
Get me the vaccine. I'll take you.
Thanks so much.
I have to go. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Barrett and Howard, thank you so much.
Pete, when we'll connect. I'd love to have your feedback on how we can always do this better. We want to be relevant for the companies as well as the Israeli companies, obviously.
That might be a challenge. This was done very well.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Happy holidays.